Most people get confused or face a phenomenal challenge at some point in their life. Where to go or which road to take if there are more than one road in front of them, or what should I do to change the direction of my life? Hi, my name is Rashid P, a leadership visibility expert from the leading lines. Today, I'm very happy to discuss with you something very, very special. That is you. You are the best thing that is going to happen to you ever in your life. Have you ever faced a situation in which you don't know what to do next? You're facing an identity crisis. You have no clue what could be your niche in the marketplace. Let's look at ourselves. What is the word or what is the value that we have added after the phrase I am? Because I am is a magical phrase. Like, I am a businessman, I am a professor, or I am a director, I am a manager, I am an engineer, I'm a trainer, I'm a coach, whatever it is. What is the value that you have added after I am? When I look at my life, I still remember that I didn't know what to do with my life. When I graduated with a very lower score of marks, one thing I know that I would not get admission for a postgraduate program with that lower marks. Then I did go to teach children. Ironically, they also didn't get an admission to college because of lower mark score. But still, I wanted to pursue my higher education. And finally, I managed to enroll to a postgraduate program through distant education scheme that didn't require a higher score of marks. On the sidelines, I also started freelance journalism. I worked for a few publications in the city. Now I enjoy both the jobs, the freedom of having two jobs, but still I didn't have an idea what I would do in my future. My father, who worked in an Arab country, he wanted me to come over there and work along with him, but I didn't go for that. One day, I went for an assignment to interview a famous psychologist in the city. After the interview, he casually asked me, what do you like to be in your future? And I gave him a lot of answers, a lot of options. And he wanted me to write each and every option that I told him. And I did that. I wrote number one, a professor, then a journalist, then a public relations officer, then an author, then an activist, a politician, even a screenplay writer. I wrote. He looked at the list, then he looked at my face, and he said the most wonderful thing. You can become all of this. But right now, take an eraser and delete everything from this except the one that you can start becoming right now from this moment onwards. And I ended up becoming a journalist. Whether it is graduating or selecting a career path or losing a job or about to retire or even choosing a partner or coping up with a breakup, whatever it is in life, you and I reach a point where you don't know what to do or where to go. And the solution for that depends on where you are standing in your life at that specific time. Remember, you and I have a brain in our head. We also have our feet in our shoes. So walk, steer in the direction that you desire, you choose, because you are the person to decide where you want to go. You are your own, you are something real. I still remember a poem I studied in my high school classes, written by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. The poet walked in a forest. After some time, he reached a point where the path diverted into two directions. He stood there for a long time and he looked at one path as much as he could. Then he looked down to the other path as much as he could. Then he chose, then he walked by the path which is less traveled by people. And later the poet admitted that selection made all the difference in his life. Now, coming back to my life, a few years ago, I was lost again in my life, frustrated, trapped, unfulfilled, insecure, and above all, the pressures and the expectations of the society. I was stuck in my career as a journalist. I didn't know what to do. And also, that job didn't serve me to meet both the ends of my life. Every day when I went to my office, to my workstation, which is a newsroom, I saw a lot of unhappy faces. Some of them worked very, very hard, and some others were very, very lazy. And they didn't have an idea, they didn't have a plan, they didn't have a dream about what to do in their future. And I thought, I don't want to be like them. So I quit that job. Then I switched to the other to the other side of the coin, to another role in the industry, in the same industry. Then I became an expert in that domain. And that made all the difference in my life. That helped me to fulfill my plans in my life. Life is like a forest, as Robert Frost witnessed in the middle of the forest. Because life gives us all the resources to live, to survive, to sustain, like water, food, and all the materials to build up a shelter. And the forest sometimes scares us with its wilderness, with its poisonous creatures, with the loneliness, with the challenges, with the darkness. And our life also sometimes scares us with a lot of challenges, a lot of wild realities, a lot of scary realities. And you and I safeguard ourselves and those who are along with us from this wilderness of the life. Life is also a special drama with a lot of twists, lot of turns and surprises. It really happens at a place, at a point where the journey starts between who you were before and who are you becoming now. Ralph C. Smedley said, your destination determines your direction. You and I sometimes face an identity crisis. Sometimes we become unable to decide what is our niche in the marketplace. Let me ask you something. What do you think about the image that comes to the minds of others when they think about you? I'll repeat, what is the image that is coming to the minds of other people when they hear your name or when they think about you? For example, what do you think when you hear the name Albert Einstein? Probably you think about Einstein's long white hair surrounding his shoulders, or you may also remember about his very famous photograph in which he is sticking out his tongue. You may also think about the word genius, but you also will come up with his master theory E is equal to mc square. Now, what do you think about when you hear the name Isaac Newton? Newton is sitting under a tree, under an apple tree, and the fruit falls on his head. You may also think about the law of gravity. Now, what do you think about? What image comes to your mind when you listen the word, the name Charlie Chaplin? Sometimes his mustache, the toothbrush-like mustache, or his famous bowler hat, or his signature walking stick. You may also think about him as one of the most revolutionary filmmakers in the history, one of the brilliant actors in the history. Now, think about Gandhiji. What is the image coming to your mind? Probably his minimal dress, or his long walking stick, or his famous rounded specs. But his niche also may come to your mind that are truth and non-violence. There are a lot of hundreds of genius people in this world, hundreds of leaders in the history of human species. They have their niche, like Wright brothers, aircraft, Bill Gates, the revolution of computers, or the visionary technocrat and the legendary inventor Steve Jobs, Apple Macintosh, or J.K. Rowling, Harry Potter, Walt Disney, Disney World, Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook, or social networking. So visualize your niche, visualize yourself at the highest position in your niche, in your future role, and stay there and show up there every day and every night because you are really something. If you want to lead a productive life, listen, Steve Jobs said, you might have taken up several different roles in your life, but if you want to lead a productive life, you have to not look too much to your past. Throw away your past, whatever it was, or whoever you were. When I look at my life, I've confused several times. What should I become? Should I be a professor? Should I be a journalist, a coach, a trainer, a consultant, a businessman? Sometimes you and I would think about traveling by two roads at the same time. You will sorry about not being able to travel by two roads at the same time. You stand there for some time, or for a long time. You look down to one path as much as you could. Then you look down to the other road as much as you could, just to decide where to go or what to do next. So take the path which is less traveled by people, because that will make all the difference in your life. Remember, if you don't drive to your destination, somebody else will drive you to their destination. Persian poet and philosopher Jalaluddin Rumi once said, your heart knows the way. Run in that direction. Perhaps the most powerful phrase in the language would be, I am. Because what is the value, or what is the word that you are adding after I am? That creates your future, that shapes your reality. Understand that you are the traveler, you are the way, you are the journey, and you are the destination. Thank you very much for listening. This is Rashid P, Leadership Visibility Expert from the Leading Lines.